All right, friends, it's Cian. I'm back with another video, and let's review a video by Dr. Israel, Renaissance Periodization. Build muscle, not fat. So he says the most effective way to bulk for muscle growth, clean versus dirty bulk. So he's going to teach you how to build muscle bulking, but and not it doesn't say protein, without protein. It's bulking, but no protein. I thought protein and not bulking. Bulking, protein. I thought protein builds muscle, but I guess to him, bulking is going to build muscle. Okay, let's see what kind of muscle you're building with bulking as opposed to protein.
Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for Renaissance Periodization, and today's video is about the epic, timeless battle of clean bulking versus
Clean, right. Clean bulking. Okay, interesting. Versus dirty bulking, yes.
dirty bulking. Oh my god. It's bros versus also bros.
So it's fake versus more fake. Okay, yes, interesting. Okay.
Pros versus incels that say pros are on a ton of drugs and clean bulking doesn't work.
Well, I always thought that protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown. Isn't that what they tell you here, even in NCBI? You're a science guy. You're a doctor, aren't you? Right there, NCBI, Nutrition and Muscle Protein Synthesis Descriptive Review. It says that if muscle is going to gain any mass, protein synthesis must exceed that breakdown. So how is a bulking gonna build a muscle if that's what you really need?
Versus
What does a bulking consist of? Is there an interference there?
Cells that say pros are on a ton of drugs and clean bulking doesn't work. Comments, Reddit. What a great time. You will see that the title of the slide is Christina Aguilera. Why? Dirty, it's about magma. Dirty, shrinkage magma. Dirty. First of all, that song is fucking sweet. Second of all, that dates me like shit because it came out 40 fucking years ago. Third of all,
I don't want to know.
what as hell, girl, was up? You know what I'm saying? I'm very often high in a few ingredients: salt, sugar, saturated fat, okay? And it's often, though not always, highly processed, and is always, everywhere, highly palatable, which means it's delicious and you just can't stop eating it and you want to eat more. No one's ever described...
Yeah, it's based on marketing. It's artificial food. It's a natural food, man. Isn't based on nature.
something as junk food that tastes like shit. Unless you go to Japan at some expensive restaurant, you're like, okay, it's totally Japanese junk. Like, it's a weird take of Japanese people on junk. It's awful, but it's good because it's bad. Shut up, hipsters, you ruined food. In any case, that's junk food. That's junk food. Healthy food is...
No. That's fake food, because that food doesn't exist anywhere in nature. Just observe nature. What would you be eating if you lived in nature? Would you be eating any of these junk foods, these so-called processed foods, or whatever the hell he was talking about? Of course not. Absolutely not, because it doesn't exist in nature. If you're eating, you are of nature. Now, if you eat something artificial, it's going to affect you in a very bad way, believe me.
Food generally composed of lean meats, veggies, fruits, grains, most often whole grains, but not always, and healthy fats that are high in...
You would never eat any of those things in nature. You would eat wild animals, probably drink their blood, eat their organs, and eat the meat, yeah. And you wouldn't even cook it either, because there's no pots and pans out there for cooking. People have survived eating fish, raw fish, and things like that. They still eat raw fish to this day, and meat and, organs and things of animals. They eat them raw. They're not dying or anything like that. Now, you got to watch out for bacteria. You don't want to get food poisoning if they're handling it mishandling it, and they're using dirty equipment and they're not cleaning it. You get salmonella poisoning or some shit. So that's what you got to be careful of, botulism.
Poly and monounsaturated sources like olive oil, canola oil. Yes, canola oil. Get in the fucking comments. Oh, and before you do, just PubMed the shit so you can confuse yourself further. And nuts, nut butter, stuff like that. The good stuff. And there's not really much controversy between what is generally a healthy food and generally a junk food. There is some context, there is some nuance, but not a ton. You don't take a tub of fucking
It's really easy to tell you what's healthy and what's bad for you. Just figure out what you would be eating out in nature, which is natural, your natural diet. See what I mean? Then that's it. That's all you have to do. It's really simple.
Oreo ice cream out of the fridge. You're like, is this junk food? Isn't all food good food? You can take that shit to the comments if you like, but try to make some sense of the world. All categories, or almost all, are fuzzy sets and are slightly overlapping, so it's okay that some foods are difficult to identify as junk or as whole food, healthy food, but gee whiz, it's a pretty delineated two-set system. Now, a clean bulk, to get really to the definitions we want to understand, a clean bulk can be defined for our purposes as a mass-gaining, muscle-gaining phase of intentional weight gain over some months of time in which you essentially eat zero junk food. It's all healthy food. Okay.
That could be the equivalent of sarcoplasmic, adding to the sarcoplasm more sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which is an artificial type of muscle growth, friends.
A dirty bulk is defined as same intentional gaining over several months of time, a hypercaloric diet that meets the protein recommendations, so gram per pound on average per person, and then the carbs and fat sources to meet your calorie goal come from question mark. Because dirty bulk doesn't...
Like, I love this guy. Like, it's centered, for me, when he's speaking, this is just fake entertainment. Really, if you pull out stuff from NCBI, you know that protein synthesis needs to exceed this breakdown to build muscle, right? We all know that. To build that mass on that muscle, that mass. Not talking about more density. We're just talking about mass. You get density and then you build the mass on that density. When do you get that density? Because, man, you guys all reach this, an MND size limit, okay? What is an MND size limit? I can show you on a map, okay? Again, it's during hypertrophic process, this reaches a ceiling limit, okay? So this progenitor, the satellite cell, is beyond where it could support further muscle growth by donating its nuclei. It's gone there. It's dead in the water. And it dies right here in this map. So this is another one. You can check this out. You know, nuclei acquired by overload precedes hypertrophy. It's NCBI. I'm simply using science, making a point. Some people are going to get crazy. If I don't bring this stuff up, they get nuts. So untrained first training, that's you when you come to the gym. Satellite cell fusion. What is this satellite cell fusion? You are getting more cells, muscle cells. See how they're binding there? They're fusing. What reminds you of something that gives you more cells? If something gives you more cells, what is that? Oh, hyperplasia. Right. You get a hyperplasia. So and then when they get bigger, when these cells get bigger, what do? Hypertrophy. See that? Now, if you notice when you detrain and if you were to atrophy and come back, that's all you get. It's called muscle memory. It just goes like this, around and around and around forever, like a roller coaster. You understand me? It never repeats itself a second time. Notice that? It's not repeating itself. Why is that? Why isn't it repeating itself? There are very specific reasons why it's not repeating itself. I'm not going to explain it in this video. I can explain it with the myocytic androgen receptor. That is not responsible for the mass. This is obviously responsible for that mass. Okay? But that is responsible for force production. But if you atrophy and you come back to the gym and you lose that force production, that is another reason why when you atrophy and come back, you just get the same cycle again. You still have the density in there. There's still some androgen receptors there. You understand me? I'm not going to go into more detail about this because that's not what this is about. It's a little bit complicated for people to understand, but I don't want to get into it. If you want to find out the secret, when I get up to maybe 1,000, back to 2,000 subs, I'll probably reveal it. Why this is not going back, and it has something to do with myocytic androgen receptors, like I had in that report. Okay, look, I'll bring this up just in case somebody's foolish enough not to understand this. So they all work together. Your body, all of these things work in unison. Kind of they work together, okay? So myocytic androgen receptor controls the strength. That's strength in an adaptation, lifting a heavy weight, but not the mass of the limb muscles. Okay. So when you first come into the gym, has something to do with that, okay? That's why it doesn't control the mass. It controls that strength. It controls that domain. And this domain controls that domain, MND size, so forth and so on. But they all kind of have something to do with each other. So yeah, so when you come in and you try to do this again, it never comes back. Now, let's go back to him about his dirty bulk. You're going to build muscle, even though we know it's ended. It's called you call it newbie gains or genetic limit, whatever you want to call it. You have an instinctual instinct. Your instincts are correct. It's ended. It's ended.
Because dirty bulk doesn't mean...
That's why you have to do all these dirty bulks, clean bulks. I got to drink a gallon of milk. I got to take creatine. Got to take terkestrone. I got to take modulators. I got to take steroids. I got to take everything in the book to try to get bigger because I can't get beyond the little tiny newbie gains that I got. And I see this all the time in gyms. People come in there with their books and everything, and they say they're doing this and that. And they make up excuses, a hard gainer, reach a genetic limit, gainer, this, that. You reached an MND, your muscle has reached an MND size limit. It is beyond where it can donate any extra nuclei to that domain to support further muscle growth. Because those nuclei, they synthesize protein. Without them, you just can't build any more real muscle. But you can build sarcoplasmic fake muscles.
You can't have whole grain pasta with peanut sauce and lean chicken like that.
The truth is, once that domain ends, what is the point of doing all this and spending all that money eating all this corrupt food when all you really need is a clean carbohydrate like potatoes? They don't spike insulin. They're slow going, slow acting. The insulin is slow. And the absorption is very slow coming on. And so this is the most effective way to get these sarcoplasmic fake muscles after that domain has ended, since you're not going to be able to bypass it. So you may as well just do that. See what I mean? You're going to spend money anyways on all these fake terkestrones and what is it? What's that called? That powder shit, whatever. I just forgot the name of it. Creatine and all this garbage you want to take, even the supplements, whatever, that you think you're a natty, whatever. It can be built artificially, even with potatoes. It's cheaper, it's easier, it's better. Yeah, man, it'll last longer. So you might as well just do it with potatoes. And so if that glucose exceeds that breakdown, then you'll build these sarcoplasmic muscles. Yeah, these fake muscles. And you can fake people out with the strength. You can show that you're big, and that you lift a heavy weight by getting more adaptations in what I just showed you, the myocytic androgen receptor. You get it? You can fake them out with that. They think you're a big guy and you're strong because you lifted a heavy weight. Okay? Yeah, that's it.
Actually is healthy, that doesn't mean you can't have it. But if you take that meal and you plop a piece of fucking cheesecake in there and eat it like the fucking pathetic, disgusting animal that you are, your boy, then that's a dirty bulk. Right? You can even take the cheesecake out and paint yourself some lipstick with cheesecake.
Yes, that's a waste of time, dirty bulk. That's a waste of time, yes.
And the waitress walks by, and you're like, hey, look at me, and she's like, you're never.
This is supposed to be an expert. He's a doctor. He's supposed to be an expert. Me, I can explain it to you very simple because I have experience. I'm a super athlete. I'm not a doctor or anything like him. I actually put things into practice. I have to practice to see what would be the outcome of what I'm doing. That's how I learn. And then I look for the answers because I've got the experience to look for the answers. That's how I know how to find them.
Coming back here, the police beat you in the restaurant and you had it coming. That's a dirty bulk. So clean bulk versus dirty bulk, now we have an understanding. Basically clean bulk, no junk food. Dirty bulk,
Just wasting time, wasting more time. Gym slave, steroid slave here, lifting slave, bro. That's all he is doing, is recruiting you. He's recruiting more lifting slaves like you out there by convincing you that you need to do these dirty bulks, these fake bulks, this bulk, that bulk. Just wasting and fooling you, wasting your time.
Dirty bulk, junk food option.
Can you imagine people would believe what he says? He's enslaving you. That's what he's trying to do. Convince you and enslave you because you rely on him. You think he has the answer. That is not the answer.
But it's called a dirty bulk for a reason, right? You don't go to Las Vegas and be like, we're going to have a crazy night and just go to the...
Yeah, it's called a dirty bulk for a reason because that's what it does. It bulks you, it does that, bulk. Doesn't build muscle, it just bulks you up. Wait.
Casino and just like do slots for an hour and be like, this sucks, I'm losing money, and go to your hotel. And in bulk, healthier foods, that it is actually notably healthier for you than dirty bulking. Right? Absolutely, it'll reflect in your blood work by a small margin and in your atherosclerotic potential and all those other things. Next, if you have trouble not ballooning up to being a gigantic fat fuck on your bulking phases, which I've done on purpose numerous times in my life and I still...
Again, why would you do that if protein synthesis needs to exceed this breakdown? So I don't understand this. If protein synthesis... If muscle is going to gain mass, protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown. Again, it reached a domain limit, but I'm just saying, why wouldn't he just tell you that off the bat?
Still regret it.
Why does he need to promote this? If protein is what builds muscle, then you need none of these things. Makes absolutely no sense. Does science tell you what builds muscle, what builds strength, what is going on there? Of course it does. It doesn't tell you all in one demography. You have to look around and know what you're looking for. You need experience. If you don't have experience and you're just relying on these clowns, what did you expect?
Then if you do a clean bulk, the fact that clean foods, healthy foods are just not as palatable, they're not as easy to eat and get a ton of calories from as junk foods, the fact that that is a thing means that your probability of going off the rails and gaining like 5 extra pounds of fat...
It's getting boring.
Because if you switch to clean bulking, or as we'll talk about later, cleaner bulking,
yes.
All the time. When you switch to fat loss phase, you just take a bit of carb and fat out of each meal. Same diet, fat loss phase. If you're doing a dirty bulk, and you're like, yeah, man, mostly my meals are whey protein and Oreos, and you have to start doing a fat loss diet where you typically try to...
How is Oreo and whey protein and all this going to build you a muscle? This is just absolutely ridiculous. That protein does.
Eat healthier food because trying to lose fat out with a friend, and their dad comes downstairs and he's like, oh, you're the bodybuilder guy. And you're like, yes, sir. And he's like, you eat enough candy bars, and you're like, I just feel unclean. Like an immoral.
Yes, candy bars are going to get you over MND size. This is going to build a muscle. All the information, all the videos in his directory in Renaissance Periodization is all to enslave you as a lifting slave, but none of you understand that. See, you all see him as being, oh, he's a god, he's got the answer. He's done all the work for me. He's got the bro science, he's got the answers, man. Oh, this guy, Genetic Beast, he doesn't have the answer, he doesn't know anything. Genetic Beast is not confirming my fake beliefs, man. Come on, man, why aren't you confirming my fake beliefs? And then they write you this big fucking thing in the comment section. You get these fucking minions that come to your channel. Then they write you these big fucking columns like they fucking know something. And then they're like, yeah, this. They want me to confirm their fake beliefs. Okay, yeah, that's it, yeah. Go ahead, do that. I don't give a shit what you do. I'm simply helping my channel.